Namaste. Welcome to this short yoga practice. Today we're going to do mostly a standing sequence. Those who were here in the studio on Wednesday will have practiced it then, but I thought I'd record it for you because it's quite a nice one. It progressively gets a little bit more challenging, so feel free to bug out anytime you would like to. Today you might need a block. I'm just going to pop it down at the front of my mat. And if you set your camera up on your, let's see, left-hand side of the mat, then hopefully that will be on the right side, not camera, screen. We're going to start this practice in child's pose. So take the child's pose of your choice, make it as comfortable as you'd like it to be. I like to have my knees apart, toes towards each other, and forehead resting on the floor or on some kind of support. So if your child's pose looks a little different, that's fine, as long as it works for you. You can always stack your forearms and rest your head on your forearms. And if you find child's pose just too uncomfortable, then simply kneel upright. Whatever position you're in, taking a few longer, deeper breaths. Allow all of the worries and cares of your day to melt into the floor as you ground down through your forehead, your hands and arms, your shins, your feet, your buttocks if they're touching something. Allow the body to be soft here, soft in the forehead, the jaw, the shoulders, and especially in the belly muscles. If you've got things weighing on your mind or on your shoulders particularly, then perhaps a little deep breath in and sighing out through your mouth. When you're ready, you can come up to hands and knees. We're going to take a few cat-cow poses here, setting your hands up where they feel good to you and spreading the fingers, pressing the tops of the feet or tucking the toes under as you prefer. Feel like you can lengthen the back of the neck and scoop the belly in, press the mat away from you. Shoulders are moving gradually down the back. Inhale as you look forward, the shoulder blades glide a little further down the back. You can even soften your elbows. And exhale, rounding through the spine, scooping the belly in, chin to chest, maybe tucking the tailbone under slightly. Inhaling forward, have that sensation of lengthening the front of the body from underneath the chin all the way to the pubic bone. And exhaling, rounding under, lengthening the back of the body. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, nice gradual movements. And exhaling. One more like this. And exhaling. Here we're going to tuck our toes under and pad the hands back towards the body. Sit the body onto the heels of the feet if you can. If you're not comfortable there, then you can just lift yourself up a little bit. We're trying to lengthen the sole of the foot here, not with a super big stretch, but just with a sense of releasing. And then we're going to take the hands and wrap the thumbs into the palms, the fingers around, and move the wrists in circles as we lift the arms up over the head or up to the sides of the body. And then roll in the opposite direction as you release your arms down to your sides. We'll do that one more time. Rolling in the opposite direction to come up And reversing that rhythm of rolling to come down. Very good. Release your feet so that the tops of the feet are down on the floor, and we're going to come back into hands and knees. And this time bringing the knees a little bit closer together, still pressing into the mat, still finding that strength in the center of the body. Lifting your left leg up behind you so that your heel is up towards the ceiling, knee bent, foot flexed, looking forward. And exhale, rounding through the spine, chin to chest, nose to knee, heel to buttock. Inhaling, this is tiger pose. Exhaling, rounding, but lift the heel towards the buttock. Inhaling, looking forward, and exhaling, rounding. We'll do 2 more of these. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Allow your knee to hover just over the floor and then stir your knee in a circle. So keeping that sensation of strength through the core muscles, through the shoulders, and neutral length in the back of the neck. You can make these circles a little bit bigger as you choose. Try to avoid any clicking or grinding or clunking in your hip. So move in a way that feels good and natural to your hip. When you're ready, you can go in the opposite direction. Start small and gradually build to a larger movement. Circling your hip, and you may find that it clunks in one direction or clicks in one direction rather than the other. So be sure to choose a movement that avoids that clicking or clunking. When you're ready, you can release this knee to the mat, walk your hands back towards you, come onto the tops of your feet, release your heels down, take some support if you need to, like a block or a bolster underneath the knees. And then taking the hands and spreading the fingers out wide, rolling the wrists as you lift your arms out and up, feeling a lift through the sides of the body as well, and rolling your wrists in the opposite direction as you release your arms down to your side. We'll do it one more time. Rolling in the first direction, lifting the arms out and up, feel that lift through the sides of the body. Reverse that rotation and release the arms down to the side. Very good. Coming back onto your hands and knees. The knees are still quite close together. For tiger pose on the opposite side, flexing the right heel, inhale as you look forward, opening your chest, lift your heel. Exhale, rounding through the spine, nose to knee, heel to buttock. Inhaling, open. And exhaling, rounding and lifting, scooping the belly in. Keep the belly firm as you inhale. And exhale. Inhaling. And exhaling. Last one. Inhaling. And exhaling. And then here, float the right knee above the floor in a neutral spine and make the knee do circles. Circling the hip. And you can start small, keeping that nice firm lifting through the belly, neutral length in the back of the neck. And when you're ready, you can make your knee circling a little larger as long as you avoid any clunking or grinding, popping in your hip joint. When you're ready, come back to the center and go in the opposite direction. Start small so you can find your way. And then gradually working a little bit bigger, keeping that central effort through the core muscles. And noting that you might clunk or grind in one direction rather than the other, that's okay. Just do a smaller or different movement. And then when you're ready, you can bring both knees to the floor, walk your hands back towards you, take any kneeling position that feels good. Just giving the thighs an opportunity for a bit of length here. And I find that that's quite intense on the wrists. So here, rolling the wrists, palms and backs of the hands facing each other as you roll. You can go in the other direction as well. And while we're here, we're going to rest the hands down, find length down the back of the neck, then draw the chin towards the chest. And you can make any neck movements that feel good to you, but I like this circling neck. So one ear to shoulder, and then rolling the opposite ear to the opposite shoulder, chin to chest, ear to shoulder. Nice little semicircles in front of the body. And for anyone who enjoys circling the head completely, you can do that. Try to make your circles maybe just a little bit smaller so there's no strain. Focusing on that space underneath the chin. Doing 2 or 3 in one direction if you choose to circle before reversing the direction. And the next time you bring your chin towards your chest, just resting there for a moment, smile to yourself and bring your head upright again. Awesome stuff. Okay, so we're going to come from here into downward facing dog, resting the hands on the floor. We're going to tuck the toes under, firm the belly, and then just hover the knees off the mat for a moment. Maybe gently just sway the knees from side to side, doing a little bit of wriggling through the sides of the body. It might be that you have to lift one foot and then the other to do that. Feel your core muscles really switched on here. And then when you're ready, you can press the chest towards the thighs, the knees still quite bent, relax the back of the neck, and then extend through the legs, gently, slowly, easing the heels towards the mat. Find where your resistance is, and then do a little bit of walking of your dog. So don't press through the resistance in the body, but feel that you can move in a way that eases a little bit more space into the back of the body, the back of the legs, maybe particularly the calf muscles, the Achilles, the hamstrings, wherever your tightness is. Mine is in my low back. The backs of my legs seem fine, but my low back likes a little soft undulation. So here, if that's the case, you can keep both knees bent and do a little hip wiggling. And don't forget to turn your head from side to side a little, maybe the weight of the head, a little traction on the neck there. In your own time, find your way back to downward facing dog and gently ease the chest towards the thighs, heels towards the floor. They don't have to touch. Scoop your belly and remember to press into your hands as well. Take a deep breath in and sigh out. And then when you're ready, you can gently walk your feet towards your hands. Take your feet nice and wide and see if you can come into a little squat position here. So here, the toes are turned out. You don't have to have your heels down. You can have your heels up. You might be able to get one down at a time. That's fine too. Ease the elbows or the upper arms into the inner thighs and lift your chest. Press your palms together. Just find a little ease here, perhaps a little movement if that suits you. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then we're going to place the hands on the floor, turn the toes forward, and then here drop the bottom towards the heels as you round through the spine, soften the knees to come up to standing. As you stand tall, reach the arms out and up. And as you exhale, arms can come down by your sides. Excellent. Okie dokie, guys. So I'd just like to do another couple of movements before we start our practice. I don't know if it'll be a couple. I tend to be intuitively led. And we're going to do what's called whoosh breath. We haven't done these for a while. So you want a relatively wide stance. I can turn slightly sideways, that maybe help, in your feet. So I'm as wide as my body, and I can have a little soft bounce in the knees here as well. And we're going to breathe in, take the arms out and up. And as you breathe out, fold forward, exhaling, and then bounce all the way up again. Breathing in, breathing out. Nice soft knees, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Finish by breathing in to stand tall, reach up, and allow the arms to rest down by the sides. Excellent stuff. So we're going to do a little Kati Chakrasana as well before we start in our standing series proper. So soft in the knees, little bounce in the feet, and gently twisting from side to side. And this will ease out any tension across the shoulders, the back of the body, maybe across the hips. Allow your core to be as supportive as you need it to be to feel strong. And when you're ready, you can pivot on your toes. Maybe feel that the buttocks switch on a little bit there, especially on the side you turn away from. Let your shoulders be loose, your arms soft. You can add a little bounce of the knees. And if you want to, you can touch the opposite shoulder in front of you, opposite hip behind. That gives a bit more of a pronounced movement to the arms and the chest and the upper back. When you're ready, you can let your bounce go. Simply pivot on your toes. Bring your feet to steadiness and sway back to center. Awesome sauce. Okay, well, let's finish our preparation by doing just a few movements for the shoulders. If you bring your fingertips onto your shoulders, and we'll begin by doing a backward circle. So lifting forwards, up and back, like backstroke. Lift your chin ever so slightly, press into your feet, firm in the belly, not super firm, halfway to whatever it would be if it was all the way in. And opening your chest. Then whenever you're ready, reversing that motion, maybe looking slightly down, finding a little forward, a front stroke, no, what's it called? Front crawl. I did swim for years. I should really know. I'm just finding that undulation across the back as well. Very nice. When you're ready, gently coming to an upright position, releasing the arms down, just giving the shoulders a light shrug. Very good. Okay, shake out the arms, shake out the legs, and we are ready for our standing series. So we're going to move this block. I shall pop it out of the way for now, over to here, because we don't need it on the first round. We're going to do a simple version on the first round, and then we're going to add, and then add again. We'll see how we get on. So at the top of your mat, turning the palms of the hands forward, letting the shoulders release down away from the ears. Taking a deep breath in your Tadasana position. And a deep breath out. As you breathe in this time, reach your arms out and up. Bring the palms together over the head, and as you breathe out, bring the hands down to the center of the chest. Here, we're going to reach the arms forward and up. Let your breath find its natural rhythm. Take your weight onto your right foot and bend your left knee, lifting your left heel. So the foot's not off the ground, but it's nearly off the ground. From here, we're going to step that foot back as far as it goes. So taking the weight into the right foot and the toes of the left foot behind you, reaching the hands forward, bending the right knee. We're in a sort of diagonal lunge position. From here, we're going to breathe in, open the chest, Press into both feet, press the back heel towards the floor to lift the body into an upright lunge. Here we'll do a little pulsing with the breath. So inhale as you lengthen your right leg. Exhale as you bend your right knee and just feel yourself sinking between the 2 feet. Breathing in, lengthening the front leg. Breathing out, bending that front right knee. One more time, breathing in and up. Breathing out and down. And then releasing the arms down, we're going to find ourselves coming towards the mat. So softening the back knee perhaps towards the mat, bringing the hands down. If you can do that from a standing lunge, that's okay. And stepping into downward facing dog. Just doing a little paddling in your dog. Doing whatever feels good here for a moment. Turning the head, undulating the shoulders, the hips, the legs, the ankles, whatever feels like it's releasing. Then taking your knees to the mat. We want to have the knees a little bit further back than normal, the hands a little bit further forward for a waving vinyasa from the knees. So scooping the belly in, taking the hips towards the heels, look towards your knees, forehead towards the floor, then press off the feet to round through your spine. As your shoulders come over your hands, draw the elbows and the shoulder blades towards each other to open your chest. Look up, firm in the belly and the buttocks. Then press back up through hands and knees, rounding the spine to come into what we call puppy dog pose. One more time, pressing off the feet to round through the spine. Firm in the buttocks and the belly, glide the shoulder blades down, open the chest, look up. And then exhaling, rounding through the spine and coming back into puppy dog pose. From your puppy dog pose, coming back into to downward facing dog, and then walking or tiptoeing your feet forwards, lifting the hips, scooping the belly in. If you need to, taking your fingertips to the floor or bending your knees until you bring your feet to your hands. Tadasana alignment in the feet. Bend the knees deeply, drop the bottom, let the head and the arms hang, scoop the belly in, round through the spine to come up to standing. In standing, reach the arms out and up. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, draw your hands down to the center of your chest. Very good. Release your arms. Make any adjustments to your clothing that you need. Find Tadasana. Take a deep breath in and out. We'll do the other side, the right side. So breathe in, take the arms out and up. Breathe out, draw the palms down through the center of the chest. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. Take your weight onto your left foot. Raise the arms up in front of the body, lifting the right heel and the right knee. From here, finding the strength in that left leg, step the right foot as far back as you can and come into a diagonal lunge, really pressing into both feet, firming the belly. Firming the belly, lift the body into an upright lunge. Find that strength in the buttocks as well. And then inhale as you lengthen your front left leg, and exhale as you bend into the left knee, press the right heel to the floor at the same time. Inhale, lengthening the front leg. Exhale, pressing into both feet. Your heel probably won't touch, that's okay. Inhale, lengthening the front leg. Exhale, bending into that front knee. From here, you can simply reach for the floor, or you can bring your back knee to the mat first and have your hands frame your front foot, step into downward facing dog. In your downward dog, just make any movements that feel good. Perhaps a little soft knee and a wiggle of the hips from side to side. And perhaps just easing through one heel and then the other, nice and strong in the arms, the shoulders, and the hands. When you're ready, you can drop your knees to the mat. Make sure that your knees are a little bit further back, hands a little bit further forward than normal hands and knees. And then take your hips to your heels and your forehead to the floor for puppy dog pose. Press off the feet to round through the spine. Scoop the belly in. Inhale as you come forward, opening the chest by drawing the shoulder blades towards each other and lifting the chin. And then exhale, scoop the belly in, round through the spine, come back to puppy dog pose. One more waving vinyasa from the knees, pressing off the feet to round forward, opening the chest, shoulder blades back and down, and then exhaling, scooping the belly in and coming back to puppy dog pose. From puppy dog pose, lifting the knees, coming back into downward facing dog. Make any adjustments here to your posture. And then you're going to gently tiptoe, scooping the belly in, tiptoeing the feet forward, nice and slowly towards the hands, coming up onto tip fingers if needed. When you get to your Tadasana alignment, bend the knees, drop the bottom, scoop the belly in, round up to standing. If you come to when you come to standing, reach the arms out and up, breathe in. Breathe out, bring the palms down through the center of the chest. Allow the arms to drop to the side, come into Tadasana alignment, take a deep breath in and out. So we take it up a little notch on this next round. Breathing in, taking the arms out and up. Breathing out, drawing the palms down through the center of the chest. Take your weight onto your right foot, lift your arms straight up and float your left knee up to about hip height, flexing in your foot for a standing balance. From here, pivot on your right hip, stretch your hands forward and your left leg backwards, and then step onto that foot into your diagonal lunge. Press into the feet, come to an upright lunge. From your upright lunge, we're going to drop the back heel to the floor. So you actually are now in Warrior One. Taking a deep breath in, firm belly and buttocks, and a deep breath out. From here, we're gently going to turn the body to face the long side of the mat. So you find yourself in Warrior Two. Adjust your feet as you need to feel nice and secure there. We're bending quite firmly into that front knee, making sure you can still see the front toes, reaching the arms really wide, allowing the feet to be very supportive here. We're going to reach the left hand down to the left leg as we inhale, reach the right arm up, reverse warrior. And then as you exhale, right forearm to right thigh and reaching the left arm over, extended side angle pose. Inhaling, pressing into the feet to remain strong and secure there. Reverse warrior. Exhaling, extended side angle pose. One more, inhaling. And exhaling. And then from here, we're just going to keep that left hand reaching all the way to the right, pivot on the back foot, reach down to the floor and step into downward facing dog. Very nicely done. Little wiggle through your down dog. And here you can do your waving vinyasa from down dog or from hands and knees as you choose. Either one, dropping the bottom towards the heels, pressing off the feet, rounding through the spine. As the shoulders come over the hands, opening the chest, glide the shoulder blades towards each other, soft in the elbows, shoulders down. And then rolling the opposite way, rounding through the spine into hands and knees or downward dog. One more time, bending the knees, drop the bottom, press off the feet, round through the spine, scoop the belly in. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other to open the chest. If you're doing this with just the hands and feet on the floor, you can press through plank on your way back, if you like to, into downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, you can either tiptoe if you find that easy, or you can soften both knees, step the left foot forward and then the right foot forward. However you get to the front of the mat, doesn't matter. End up with your feet in Tadasana alignment. Bend your knees deeply to drop your bottom, press into the center of the foot, scoop the belly in, rounding up to standing. As you come to an upright position, breathe in, take the arms out and up, lift the chest. Breathing out, bring your palms down through the center of the chest. Release the hands into Tadasana alignment. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. So let's do the right side. Breathing in, taking the arms out and up, lift your chest. Breathing out, bringing the hands down through the center of the chest. Take your weight onto your left foot. Breathe in as you lift the arms up and lift the right knee to about hip height. Flex the right foot as well. From here, pivot on your left hip, reaching your hands forward as you reach your right foot backwards, right leg backwards, step back as far as you can, diagonal lunge. Firm the feet and the belly, come to an upright lunge, and then allow your right heel to settle to the floor for warrior one. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We're gently going to pivot on our hips to come to face the long side of the mat on the right side. For warrior two, adjust your feet as you need to so that you can see the toes of your left foot when you gaze gently down. Reach the fingertips apart, draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Firm feet, belly and buttocks. Breathe in as you reach the right hand down, looking up, reverse warrior. And breathing out as you come into extended side angle pose, resting the left forearm on the left thigh. Press into the feet, breathing in. Reverse warrior. Breathing out. Extended side angle pose. Breathing in. Reverse warrior. Breathing out. Extended side angle pose. From here, keep your right hand reaching towards the front of the mat, the left foot, and then pivot on your back foot. Bring your right hand down, frame the foot with both feet, with both hands, and step back to downward facing dog. Make any adjustments in your down dog. Maybe you need a little bit of a wiggle. If you need a child's pose, take a child's pose, no problem at all. And you can always do that as an alternative to a waving vinyasa. Waving vinyasas either from the knees or from downward dog. Drop the buttocks to the heels, press off the feet, round through the spine. As your chest comes forward over the hands, soft elbows, draw the shoulder blades towards each other, open your chest. And then press either up through plank or through hands and knees back into downward facing dog. Drop the buttocks to the heels, hands and knees if you want to. Press off the feet to round through the spine, coming forward. Opening the chest. And this time, round through the spine on the way back as well. So bend your knees, rounding through your spine, back to hands and knees, and coming to downward facing dog if you have not already come back to down dog, if that makes sense. Here you can make any movements that feel good. For those of you who are confident stepping forward, you can do that, or if not, tiptoe your way forward to your hands. Soft knees, stepping the right foot forward if you're stepping forward, left foot as well. In your Tadasana alignment, just relaxing for a moment, let the tiptoes catch up. Then bend the knees deeply, scoop the belly in, press into the center of the foot, round through the spine. As you come upright, breathe in. Reach the arms over the head and breathe out, draw the palms down to the center of the chest. Very nice. Okay. So that was our second round, just a slightly different thing to do. And now we're going to take a block and place it on the left-hand side of the mat, around about the center of the mat. And that is, just in case, always better to have some support there if needed. I'm going to step slightly further back from the end of my mat because I need enough space to reach out in front. We're doing a little flying warrior on this side. So coming into your Tadasana position, turning the palms forward, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Breathe in, take the arms out and up, lift your chest. Breathing out, bringing the hands down through the center of the chest. Take your weight onto your right leg. Lift your arms and your left knee to about hip height. And then here, we're going to extend the left leg, reach the right arm forward and the left arm backwards for a twisted variation of Can't remember what the pose is. This balance. And then we're going to pivot on the right hip to reach the left leg backwards, the right arm forwards. The left arm can do whatever feels good for a flying warrior here. And then step back into, to bring the left heel to the floor, cartwheel the arms into warrior two. So we're straight to warrior two, no warrior one or lunges on this side. Find your warrior two position, really drawing the shoulder blades towards each other, lengthening through the fingertips, finding the feet, the belly active, the buttocks active. Here we're going to inhale, reaching the arms up, bringing the palms together, and then exhale, looking over the right fingertips as we bring the arms back to shoulder height. Inhaling up, lengthening the front leg, exhaling, bending the front knee. We'll do one more. Inhaling, this is witch's hat in children's yoga, but I don't know what it's called in adults yoga. Exhaling. Then here, we're going to lengthen the front leg and turn both feet to face outwards on the mat. So we're coming for a star shape pose to goddess squat, and we're going to do this with a exhale. So breathe in, open your chest, and as you breathe out, draw your fists to your waist, bend your knees, and exhale forcefully. Breathing in, breathing out. Excellent. Breathing in, breathing out. One more. Breathing in. Let it go. Breathing out. Excellent stuff. Come into your star-shaped pose. We're going to turn the toes to point forwards and then do a little forward bend here. So open your chest and then fold forward from your hips. Lengthen through the backs of the legs. Reach for your block if it's handy, or the floor if you need. Here, whatever you're reaching to, just soften the left knee and allow the weight to come towards the left, lengthening the inner right leg, and then soften the right knee and allow yourself to lengthen the inner left leg. We're going side to side, hands on the floor or fingertips on the floor or on a block just to support the movement from side to side. A little surfer squat. If you like to here, you can look forward to keep the chest open. And for those who enjoy a bit more challenge, you can do this with the arms off the floor, using the strength between the shoulder blades to float the body parallel to the floor. When you're ready, coming back to the center, you can widen your feet if you like to take a full forward bend. So begin by lengthening, looking forward. And as you exhale, fold into your forward bend. If you can, place the crown of your head lightly on the floor and take your weight a little bit into your toes so it's not all in your heels. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. When you're ready, you can come up to your halfway fold position, and we're just going to turn the right toes to the right, walk the hands to frame the right foot, and step back into downward facing dog. Here in your downward facing dog, make any paddling or movements that feel good, and then we're taking 2 waving vinyasas. So from the knees or from down dog, drop the bottom to the heels, press off the toes, round through the spine, opening the chest, drawing the shoulder blades into play, and the elbows a little soft. Come back through plank or hands and knees into downward facing dog, or hands and knees. And one more time, dropping buttocks to heels, press off the feet, round through the spine, scoop the belly in, firm the buttocks, firm that space between the shoulder blades. And then rounding on the way back this time, bending in the knees, coming back to hands and knees and up to downward dog if you would like to. For those who are comfortable stepping forward, soften the knees, step your left foot forward and then your right foot. For those who prefer, tiptoe your way all the way to the front of the mat. In the forward bend, take a deep breath in and out. Check your alignment, that your feet are the right distance apart. Bend the knees deeply, drop the bottom, scoop the belly in, round through the spine, pressing into the center of the feet to come up. As you come upright, inhale, reach the arms out and up. And exhale, hands to the center of the chest. Very nice. Release the arms. Stand in Tadasana alignment. Adjust your block to the opposite side of your mat if you need your block. And adjust yourself a little backwards if, like me, you need the space to reach forward into the flying warrior pose. Turn the palms forward. Take a deep breath in and out in Tadasana. Breathe in, take the arms out and up. Breathing out, drawing the palms down through the center of the chest. Take your weight onto your left foot. Breathe in as you lift your right knee up to hip height, reaching the arms up. And then lengthen the right leg forward, the left hand forward, the right arm behind you for a twisted variation of this pose. Pivot on your left hip, reaching the left arm forward as the right heel goes backwards. Right hand can do whatever you like. Flying warrior here, and then lightly step the right foot to the floor and come into warrior two. Here in your warrior two, take a moment just to feel really secure, reaching the fingertips out, the shoulder blades towards each other, firming feet, belly and buttocks. And then inhale, pressing the left leg straight, reaching the arms up. Exhale, gazing over the left fingertips as you come into warrior two again. Breathing in, lengthening the front leg, reaching the arms up. Breathing out, bending the front knee, gazing over the front fingertips. Breathing in one more time. And breathing out, warrior two. From warrior two, lengthen that front left leg, turn the foot in slightly, turn the right heel in slightly as well. So both feet are pointing outwards. We're in our star shape and we're ready for our goddess squat. Breathe in, breathe out, and bending knees, hands to your waist. Breathing in, breathing out, and one more time. Breathing in, let it go. Breathing out, and smashing star. Come to a star-shaped pose. Square your feet so your toes are pointing towards the long end of the mat. Feet are parallel. Open your chest as you breathe in. As you breathe out, fold forward from the hips, reaching for a block or the floor. And when you get down with your hands on the floor, take a moment just to make sure your weight isn't all into your heels, isn't all into the backs of the legs. Scooping your belly in and gently ease into your left knee, lengthening the right leg, and then coming back to the center and easing to the opposite side. So a little slow squatting from side to side to begin with. And as you build up a sense of what the body is really happy to do today, you can make that a little swifter from side to side. For those of you who'd like a bit more challenge, you can draw the arms out to the side. Keep the torso parallel to the floor, really firm in that space between the shoulder blades, the belly, and the feet as you surf a squat. When you're ready, you can come back to the center, take the hands down if they've been up, widen the feet if that is something your body's happy to do. Lift your chest as you look forward, breathing in, and as you breathe out, fold into the deepest variation of your forward bend you're happy to do. Perhaps the crown of your head lightly grazes the floor, or you can use a support as well. Weight not all into the heels. If your head is down, you're not resting weight into it, it's just contact. Keep effort into the feet. Energy from the center of the foot to the sit bones. Deep breath in and out. When you're ready, you can gently raise yourself back to that halfway into the forward bend. Pivot on the feet to turn the left foot forward, left foot to the short end of your mat. Walk your hands to frame your left foot and step back into downward facing dog. Here in downward dog, we're not going to do a waving vinyasa straight away. We're going to do a squatting dog. So take the feet nice and wide apart, up onto your tiptoes, drop your heels to the right, and keep your hands where they are. Bend and stretch your legs about 3 times, 2-3 times. That'd be nice. Nice and firm in the belly. And then come back onto your tiptoes, drop your heels to the opposite side. Bend and stretch the legs. Oh, that feels really good. And really good down the sides of the body as well. I've got one hand slipping away, very unfortunate. Then back to the center. And we can do our waving vinyasas. Drop hips to heels in hands and knees or downward dog. Roll forward, open the chest. Make the shoulder blades work, make the elbows soft, the hands work too, and then scoop the belly in, round through your spine, back to downward facing dog. One more time. Drop buttocks to heels, press off the feet, round through the spine, opening your chest. And then going the opposite way. Back to hands and knees or downward dog. Step your feet perhaps a little bit further in. And from here, we're going back down to child's pose. So taking the knees to the mat and settling the forehead to the floor. For those of you who want to, you can have your arms down by your feet, really letting the shoulders relax. Taking a few deep breaths here. If you don't enjoy the child's pose, and there are lots of reasons that might be, then choose a position that suits you better. Perhaps it's lying on your tummy, perhaps it's kneeling upright, perhaps it's just a different variation of child's pose with the arms up or the knees wide. Wherever you are, take a few breaths to breathe out through the mouth. Soften the face. The area around the eyes, the jaw, the shoulders, the belly, the buttocks. When you're ready, we're going to do a little twisted child's pose. So if you're not in child's pose, find your way there. You can have your knees apart if this is helpful. And then from child's pose, we're going to tent the fingertips of the left hand, slide the right arm underneath, taking the right shoulder, right side of the head to the floor, and then softening the left arm as well, if that feels good. If you need a bit more support, place the left forearm underneath the head. In this twisted child, taking just a couple of deep breaths, letting go of tension from particularly the upper back, particularly on the right side of the body, maybe across the waist, the back of the rib cage. Wherever you feel this posture affords you a little extra space. When you're ready, you can tent the fingertips of the left hand, create a bit of space to draw yourself back to center. And in the center, see if you can bring your forehead towards the floor or towards the back of your folded arms. Just giving the neck and the spine a more neutral shape before we move again. When you're ready, you can tent the fingertips of the right hand, slide the left arm underneath, taking the left shoulder and the left side of the head towards the floor. Use support if you need to. You can either fold the right arm underneath the head, or perhaps even use a block, soften the right elbow if you can. Take a few breaths here. Feel free to exhale through the mouth to release anything that you need to release. Feeling that sensation of opening wherever you find it in the body. When you're ready, you can tent the fingertips of the right hand. Gently slide the left hand back to the center. Reach your hands as far away from you as you can. Forehead to the floor. Bend the elbows and rest the hands on the back of the neck, the back of the head, or the upper back as you choose. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Feel the warmth of your hands, releasing, softening tension across the upper back and the back of the neck, if it's there. For most of us, there's a little bit there. When you're ready, you can gently come into hands and knees and back up to kneeling if you would like to. So for relaxation today, I would encourage you to do legs up the wall if you've got a wall handy, or use a chair if you don't have a wall handy. So I'm just going to move my mat over to the wall, and of course putting on any warm clothing that you would like. And if you want to, you can also use a block here or a bolster. Sorry, I'm getting my warm clothing. And of course you can use a blanket as well. So the block is really only for those who would like to do more inverted pose, which won't be for relaxation, but will be prior to relaxation. So get yourself a little bit ready here. And of course, if you would like to just do a standard relaxation, you can go into relaxation now. You don't need to do this variation unless you want to. But for those who are doing legs up the wall, get yourself quite close to the wall, as close as you can, so that you maybe even have to move the shoulder closest to the wall away. You want to be right towards the front edge of your mat as well. And then gently release your torso down as you release your legs up, and you want to be as close to the wall as feels comfortable for you. So if you're nice and open in the backs of the legs, if you've got your bottom on the wall and your heels on the wall, that will feel quite comfortable. But if it doesn't, then bring yourself a little bit further away or soften your knees a little. Allow your arms to rest out to the side, or perhaps rest the hands onto the abdomen if you enjoy that as an option. Allow your body to land here. Feel the weight of the legs easing the back of the pelvis towards the floor. Feel the back of the head, the shoulders, the arms and hands, and the back of your core, so the center of your back, are all supported by the floor, so you can really let go. You don't need to hold anything away from the floor. You can surrender to gravity. And while those parts of the body are feeling heavy and warm and supported, the soles of the feet that have carried us through this class, you can feel the sensation of air across them. They feel light, spacious. Maybe give your toes a little wiggle. And here, if your hips are a touch uncomfortable, widen your feet to touch and wave your feet from side to side, the soles of your feet pivoting on your heels on the wall itself. So you get that sensation of just releasing the thigh bones into the thigh sockets. The thigh sockets, the hip sockets. Very good. You can take as long as you like in this position, and you can hold this position if you would like to. You don't have to do any of the other variations at all. Maybe a few deeper breaths. If you wish to, now you can take your block or a bolster or any other kind of firm support, place your feet on the wall, roll your hips up and place that support underneath the back of your sacrum, the back of your hips, not into the fleshy part of the low back unless it's a bolster, not into the buttocks, but the bony bit across the back of the pelvis. Now I'm using the second setting on my block, the middle setting. You can use a lower setting if you like. Allow the legs to be supported by the wall, supported by the block. Feel the back of the pelvis dropping into that support, and notice here that there's a little more firm contact between the back of the head and the floor, the back of the shoulders, arms, the back of the neck even, perhaps just where it joins the torso, hopefully not the back of the neck itself, which should still retain its natural curve. Taking a few deeper breaths. Again, you can feel the lightness in the feet, maybe wiggle the toes a little, maybe relax the legs by giving them a little wave, waving the soles of the feet, that is. And then finding a touch of stillness just to enjoy this posture. Unlike shoulder stand, there is no real effort to be here. So you can relax your belly, your chest, that space between the shoulder blades. None of that is working in this posture. Nice and soft in your jaw and your forehead. If you're only on the lower setting of a block, or if you're on quite a low support, then you can stay where you are. But if, like me, you're on a medium setting, then feet on the wall, lifting the hips, just turning your block down to that lower setting. If you're on a bolster, it's up to you. You can stay up there. It's quite high, but it's okay. It's nice and supportive. Notice as you draw your support down to a lower setting, if there's more of your body in contact with the floor, more places that you can release down into. Notice if it feels more restorative, maybe a little softer or easier for the body. Choose always the postures that suit you at the time. So if you need to restore your energy, you don't need to do the fullest expression of a pose. You need to do the pose that makes you feel that you can conserve as much energy as possible. Breathe deeply. Whenever you're ready, you can release yourself from support if you're using it. Feet on the floor, on the wall, sorry, pressing into the feet to roll the hips up, and then remove the support, roll the hips down, and enjoy that sensation of real contact between the lower back, the back of the pelvis, and the floor. Here, if you enjoy it, you could try raising your arms a little further to your side or even over your head. Enjoy the backs of the arms, a different position, the tops of the arms, sorry, on the floor to release different muscles across the shoulders and arms. Spend another few minutes in this posture, or if you prefer, taking a full relaxation, Shavasana or similar, for the remainder of your relaxation. Give yourself as long as you can to rest and restore. I hope you've enjoyed this practice. Thank you for joining. Namaste.